Hello and a very good afternoon to those who are watching me live on the Facebook page of News9. A very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Neha Bhan. The reason I'm here today is to talk about the fact that India is yet to see COVID-19 peak. Yes, you heard me right. So let's first talk about the numbers. On the 3rd of June, India crossed a grim milestone of 2 lakh COVID-19. And this comes at a time when ICMR also has said that India is still very far away from the peak. That's what they said, quote unquote. So let's also discuss what exactly is a peak. So peak comes at a point when numbers start falling down gradually, which clearly we haven't seen in India. So far in India, we have been seeing a steep increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. Of course, from the past 3 days, we have been witnessing cases above 8,000 being reported from across the country. So if we have to speak about what exactly did the scientist from the ICMR say, she said, and I quote, "We are very far away from the peak. Our preventive measures have been very effective. We are in a much better position vis-a-vis other countries and you will see the data soon." Do remember that the statement made by the ICMR scientist comes in fact in the backdrop of the AIMS director as well as the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself also saying that the COVID-19 numbers in India will see a steep increase in the month of June to July. So India's COVID-19 tally, what exactly does it look like? Do remember that we have already crossed, in fact, 2,000 mark. The active cases in India, of course, are at 1,01,497. Over 1,03,200 people have recovered. That's the silver lining. And of course, these people have also been discharged, while over 5,000 people have succumbed to the deadly virus. So this is the COVID-19 India tally. But of course, if we have to talk about, many of you might be wondering what's the situation of COVID-19 numbers like in Karnataka. Let me tell you that as well. So of course, there is no midday situation update per se that would be given out by the Health Ministry. They have said that there would be only one briefing that only will be held at the, in the evening. So what's the COVID-19 situation like as per yesterday's number? Yesterday evening's number, 388 fresh COVID-19 cases have been reported in Karnataka, taking the total tally to 3,796. The death toll due to COVID-19 in the state has also risen to 52. So the active cases stands at 2,339, while the number of discharges, of course, stand at 1,403. Now, another important question that many of you have asked, in fact, many people have been continuously asking, has India stepped into community transmission? Asking you that question, so of course answering you that question, the ICMR scientist said, and let me answer this, that in an infectious disease, the important thing is the extent of the spread. Instead of using the word community transmission, it is important to understand the spread and where we stand vis-a-vis other countries. To that end, ICMR has also started a sero survey under which close to 34,000 people will be covered, and the results will be in public domain by the end of the week. Now, this also comes in the backdrop of 3 medical organizations represented by AIMS and ICMR's own research groups saying that community transmission, India has already stepped into community transmission. If you have to speak about the Health Ministry's address now yesterday, so yesterday the Health Ministry had addressed the nation on COVID-19 update and said that India's COVID-19 fatality rate per lakh population is at 0.41% as against 4.9% globally. Also adding that the country is far from peak. Yes, that's true. Although this might come as a great relief, many people can perhaps heave a sigh of relief. But the fact is that India, of course, still hasn't reached its peak, which means that we are still, anticipating more and more numbers which might come to light. And several of the experts already have mentioned that of course, our country will be seeing a steep increase in the number of cases in the month of June or July. Now, India's COVID-19 recovery rate, that's something, of course, which all of us should cherish. It's the silver lining. It's on the right track with 48.07%, over 48.07% at the moment. So far, India has conducted around 40 lakh COVID-19 tests. Do remember that India had already touched 1 lakh mark on May 18, which means that just in a span of 15 days, India, in fact, has touched the grim milestone of 2 lakh cases. Now, I'm quickly going to take a few of your questions, which I have right here with me. Many of you saying hi. Hello to all of you. Then Sandeep G saying that 5.0 lockdown. Well, the name that's been given to it is Unlock 1.0. Many of you, of course, also asking, are the schools opening soon? Najam Azim asking, Najam, there is still not a decision taken on it whether the schools will be reopening or whether there will be an online classes that will be conducted. The fact is that COVID-19 threat really hasn't subsided. It's very much there, although there have been significant relaxations that have been announced in the lockdown, but that clearly doesn't mean that we can, undermine the threat that COVID-19 poses. So then Arun Kumar also asks me that what about interstate and intra-state travel? So yes, interstate and intra-travel state is allowed, sir. You can go right ahead, but please do make sure that you're taking all the preventive measures in place. Of course, you're taking all the preventive measures and not posing a threat to others as well as to yourself. Then Asif again says that I think how to manage COVID-19 should be viable solution now so that the global economy will be on track. Yes, very well put out. The fact is that economy also is in shambles. The fact is that the entire country was also under lockdown for quite some time due to COVID-19 threat. At that point, Prime Minister said, "Jaan hai to jahan hai," but eventually he did say, "Abhi jaan bhi hai aur jahan bhi hai," which means that slowly and steadily we need to accept the fact that whenever we are stepping out of our house, we're going to fight an invisible enemy. We are ready for that. That's what we need to keep in our mind. So then, of course, many of you also saying, Sandeep ji, again, over 1 lakh cases in India. So these are the active cases. The confirmed, of course, cases in India have already crossed 2 lakh mark. And the numbers are only expected to, rise with each passing day. So Salma Abdullah asking, when are the schools opening? Well, there is still no decision taken on it, Salma, per se, because the Education Minister had earlier, a few days ago, said that whether they will be reopening the schools or whether there will be online, in fact, classes that will be starting. So a decision on this is yet to be taken. As soon as we get the update, we'll make sure to put that out for all of you. So what about the international travel? Well, there is still no decision taken on the international travel. Do remember that from the 25th of May, the domestic flights were allowed to, of course, fly, but with all the preventive measures. So a decision possibly on resuming the international flights can be taken post-July. That's what we are expecting. As several of the experts, the AIIMS director has also said the cases will, increase till the month of June to July. So after that, we are anticipating a decision on the international travel as well. So Umeed also asking when unlock international flight. I think I've already answered that. Sandeep G again saying 15 July, B depends on state. All right. Then how... I have when will international flights resume? Again, then I have already answered Sheridan. I have already answered your question. Then I have Umeed again asking when reopen gyms and parks. So the parks are already open, sir, but with terms and conditions, of course. From a certain period in the morning and a certain period in the evening, you have your parks open. But gyms, yes. So in the directive given out by the Ministry of Home Affairs, it was written that gyms can start functioning in the third phase of the Unlock 1.0. But when exactly is the third phase coming? That nobody knows. The state governments still have to take a decision on the same. So then Jyoti Rao again asks me that if schools do not open, what will become of them as they work under the private school tag, as they are not an obligation of the government? A lot of support staff, teachers are jobless. The fact is, Jyoti, I completely understand what you or thousands of other people might be going through. This situation was completely not anticipated at all. This was, this came out of nowhere. Nobody was also not ready to deal with the pandemic or, to fight with the invisible enemy. As I've been putting that out, the economy also is in shambles. Slowly but steadily, we are rising above it. We're trying to bounce back. It might take some time, but I really hope that the situation gets better. Now, of course, many of you also have asked me several other questions, but I think I have a certain time limit and I've already crossed that. I'll try to answer all of your questions. Keep posting it in my tomorrow's Facebook Live, which will be again at 1:30 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this information was helpful for you. If at all you like, do not forget to subscribe Newsline YouTube. Like us on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook. Stay safe. Thank you very much for watching.